B-movie has been transferred into binary code, and there's a 10-hour video on YouTube,
dude,
of it in binary code.
Fuck.
So it's just someone going 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 for 10 hours, just the code of the film.
Jeez. Man, the time people fucking have on their hands is absolutely
There's also
insane.
one, it's like every time the film, every time there's a cringe moment, it gets faster, and the whole film just keeps getting faster as it goes through.
God.
Welcome to the Brocast, people. We are, well, I'm back with George once again.
Hello.
This is the first on the new channel, JT Productions. I haven't told you about that, have I?
You have not told me about that. You kept me in the dark.
So, JT Productions, I made a video on the channel. At the moment, I'm just re-uploading the Brocast and my in reviews. It's where I'm going to be doing my professional stuff. Like where I want to do more professional-based videos, lists. I want to do, as a documentary, I want to film at the minute, about 30-minute documentary about like gaming. But it's not also just to do with games. It's pop culture, movies, TV, cool. Comics, majority of stuff like that. And I've got my ex-Jimbo channel for like personal stuff. That if I want to do like stream highlights or you know whatever, I'm keeping it there just to have it there. But yeah, that's the JT Productions. So this is where we are.
Cool.
So yeah, how you been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just been getting on with life, getting up to Christmas, making sure I've got everybody's presents. I've actually done DIY stuff this year. So
really? Like made all your presents yourself?
Stuff I've made, yeah. So
but not giving any spoilers away. What, like, is there anything that you're particularly proud of for a particular person?
I made some candles.
That's pretty cool.
But what I did was...
Did you make them at the school that you're at, or do you make them at, like, just in spare time?
No, man, in my own spare time.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's basically like getting, you know, like Tetons, things like that.
Oh, okay.
Like the tea caddies.
Right.
And I got some of those, but like some really kind of like vintage ones, like retro style ones.
Okay.
And I got all the candle making stuff, so like the stearin, paraffin wax dye.
I was thinking you were making like, you know, the thick, chunky candles like that burn for like days. You know, like
these ones are quite small. I figured I'd start out relatively small because you know if I make a big one. And, like, you know, I just figured.
And then you like mess up the entire thing. Yeah.
And it just looks like shit. But it looks pretty decent, to be honest. They look pretty good. And those are for my sisters. Or my sister, shall I say.
One of. Yeah. You were named.
I'm gonna give each one a candle.
Just that's it.
Yeah.
That's like that's what I appreciate. It's burn the love of my like. Yeah. This is how much I love you. Burn it away.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
The house gets set on fire
because of you.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, we got quite a bit of catching up today. There's been a lot of stuff I've been waiting to talk to you specifically about because we're so well. You're busy with working. I work on the weekend. But
I'm always busy, James.
I'm streaming as well. I've kind of like I've kind of tapered off towards the end of the year. Like November was a really good month, like for keeping in shape and being dietary. But Christmas comes around and you just like forget it.
It all gets thrown out the window. Even the people that are on diets aren't really on diets.
Yeah, I know.
And if they are, they're just fucking punishing themselves.
Yeah, like I want to use 2018. So 2018, we wrote some goals down. But it's like they're not. I prefer goal setting to New Year's resolutions because New Year's resolutions is just like I'm gonna do something different, but like until you achieve that, like there's nothing really resolved. Like I'm gonna stop smoking when, like when in 2018, if you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna stop smoking on the 1st of January. No, I'm gonna stop. No. After a brief audio hiccup. We moved location,
and we're now surrounded by food, which is amazing.
Hell of a lot better. So yeah, we were talking about New Year's resolutions. For me, I'm not doing a resolution. I'm doing goals. Goals for 2018. I've got physical.
Remember, guys, they're completely different. They're not the same at all.
I don't think they are. Like, what do you think? What's a resolution? Do you really think? Is it like something to start new? I don't know. Let's have a look.
Well, it's something you work towards. Obviously, it's like you're attempting to resolve something and come to a resolution, aren't there? I mean,
what's the definition of resolution?
I'm not a dictionary, and I fucking suck at like I fucking suck when people ask me what the definition of something is, even if it's a simple word. I'm just kind of I don't fucking know. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what it is, but you can't fucking explain.
That's it. A firm decision to do or not do something.
Well, it's similar to goals. It's similar to goals because you're setting out to do something.
Yeah, but I think some people.
But
are.
I mean, the thing with New Year's resolutions is that they can be sometimes quite vague.
Yeah.
When people put them out with goals, you know, they're quite specific. You're setting out to do something. You say, okay, I aim to do this by this certain time, and I aim to build on this. So I aim to do this, and then this, and this, and this. Well, New Year's resolutions, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I'm not going to drink. You're like.
A lot. Okay.
A
lot.
Exactly.
So. Like my goals for 2018 coming up, I've got physical, financial, and personal. So like personal would be more like I want to have like at least like 10 memorable experiences throughout the year. So like whether that's I go on holiday somewhere or I have a good time with friends, like
sure.
And have an experience with Meg or something like that. And then my other, physical wise, is one, I want to run a half marathon.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of training to do that. I think the next one's in October.
Oh, you got time.
So that's a lot. But I also want to run the 10K as well.
Oh, yeah.
Again
in
this
May,
year.
Yeah.
That's like 5 months away, isn't it?
Give or take, yeah.
What about yourself? Have you got anything?
I mean, a lot of my goals and a lot of the things I want to do are fairly simple. I mean, I just want to enjoy myself. That's what I set out to do the majority of the time, but more so than I normally do, and maybe that's do something completely different that I wouldn't normally do, or it could be
completely agree with that.
Yeah, could be anything really. I mean, it's just finding new ways to challenge yourself because you don't want to get in. I don't really like routine. I like to kind of wake up and not know what I'm gonna do for the day, and kind of and let everything just kind of roll and play out.
Yeah.
And I'm not the biggest fan of waking up, going to work, getting home from work, and then doing the same cycle over and over and over again. I want something that's kind of very different every day. So I'm waking up to new experiences. You know what I mean?
That's where me and you really differ. But I think it's where we really come together as friends, because I can do that, but I can only do it for so long where I'm I need structure. Everyone needs a little bit of structure.
Yeah, I do like structure, but I think the thing I'm afraid of is kind of I say I'm afraid of it. The thing I'm kind of wary of is being feeling that I'm not progressing.
Yeah, you're not going towards that next.
Yeah, and you're
step.
not working towards something. You know what I mean? So
I think that's why I've really been happy with my with the streaming that I've been doing on Twitch.
Yeah.
Cheeky plug right there, but I am treating it, instead of being I want to get as famous as quick as possible, or I want to get this amount of people. It's I'm more just get a schedule. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to get there right now, and I'm trying to apply that to other aspects of my life, and it's helping. It's definitely helping. When it comes to buying things, it's more wait, and to the point where you're if something that I've got that I want to upgrade, I want to upgrade this mic, or I want to get 2 mics. I'm I can wait, and then eventually have enough money and be okay, I can do that now, rather than just being get it right now, do that. That's the one thing.
Yeah. I'm really conscious about spending money.
Yeah.
I've gotten more so with the lead up to Christmas, because you do, don't you? It's kind of you're oh yeah, I'm gonna get you this, or I'm gonna get people that, and then you're about to get, and you realise that you have to spend money to get it.
Yeah.
You're just oh shit. It's
I think my biggest one is small spends, maybe 20 or 30 quid here or there, or that's where I've got that's got to matter a little bit more to me.
Yeah.
Because obviously I work and I can get money quickly if I need it. For example, working an extra shift or something like that. I can get paid the week after. But that like. But then when it comes to like stuff that's like £80, £90, you know, big spends or something like I bought because it was wearing away and the quality was still good, but it was just the wire was kind of wearing away. Was my headphones for the Xbox, and I wanted one that would work for one. It didn't work for my PS4. It was really the lead on it was really short for the PC.
Yeah.
Like, so I wanted to get a new pair of headphones. I'd had these headphones since I bought my Xbox, which was Xbox One
2013, 2014.
14, because it came out 13, I think. I got it in the May.
Yeah,
so
you got it 2014.
I remember, I think it was the May that I got it, and you got it on the Black Friday of 14 as well.
The Black Friday bundle.
Yeah, on what was it? You got it on eBay, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was a really good deal. You got it for like 200 quid or something, didn't you?
Yeah, 200 quid. Rare replay Ori and the Blind Forest, which I still haven't.
Yeah, I haven't played it either.
Thing is, I haven't even. I've still got the little kind of like
the code,
and I haven't even used it yet. I need to fucking play it, man.
I know. I've got like that's another thing this year as well. Is I've completed a lot of games this year, and I'm happy that I've done that. It's now progressing on trying to beat that this year because there's going to be so many good games coming out this year.
Oh yeah, there are a lot.
Are there anything you're excited for?
I mean, I haven't got a PS4, but Detroit Become Human. That looks like. And did you see the whole thing I was reading? I think it was in the Daily Mail. People writing and complaining, saying, "Oh, this game promotes domestic violence," and
really,
yeah, because in one of the trailers they released, I think it was at PSX. I think I'm not
quite recently. Is it
November?
Yes. Okay. And, PSX was back end of November.
Yeah, and they released a trailer that was basically this robot, this AI that you play as, and she's in a household, and it's an abusive household. You've got a dad who's he's abusive to his like little daughter.
Okay.
Like physically and verbally abusive.
Right. Okay.
And things like that. And you have to make a choice as the AI, whether you kind of like step in or you kind of like take a backseat and just like, I'm not getting involved in this.
Alright, okay.
And then loads of people got really upset and really annoyed. There's like, this is disgraceful. I'm not going to buy a game that promotes like, domestic violence. I'm like, but you see domestic violence all the time in TV, in movies. It's ingrained in so many different forms of entertainment. Yeah, exactly. So, like, what's the difference with it being in video games?
I look at that and I think, do you not think it's like it is promoting it, but do you think it's promoting in a light where it's like you can do something about it, or you can choose not to? Like that choice is there. It's like if you complain about it, then. Yeah. You would make that choice if you played the game to stop it from happening.
It's a good point. I mean, with films and TV shows, they've got a fixed narrative. They're linear. There's a way this is going to happen, and you can't just press a button on the TV
and
saying
stop it, like...
saying I want to. Well, you can press pause, but you can't do something that changes how the narrative plays out.
Yeah.
While with this game, it's a choice and story-driven game, which means that it's not linear in the sense that this is happening. It's happening. You can't change that. You can change it. So it's a good point. You can do that.
That's why I think games is the medium. Well, video games are the medium where it's the most interactive medium.
Oh God,
in the world. Like, obviously, it plays on interactiveness, but like,
I don't understand people that complain and like about video games, saying people spend too much time on games, and you're kind of like, well, people who watch box sets of like Game of Thrones and things like that, you're just sitting there, and you're even more passive.
Yeah, because
than I am. At least my fucking thumbs are getting a workout.
You're using your head, like, unless you are like some people. Is it a filter? What's that thing where like is it the autopilot? Like where you just watching something and your brain just doesn't process what's going on in front of you.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a video game, like you can do that to an extent. Like I can do it with Destiny, like where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna shoot mobs. Yeah. Like I'm gonna be like, go out and shoot this enemy. And I'm like, I gotta do this, and I can talk to people while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But you're still doing two different things compared to.
Just
I can't talk and watch. Like I can't. It's why I can't sit and watch. I can't binge as much as I used to be able to.
I can't binge. The last thing I binged was Frontier on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Jason Momoa.
How many seasons of that is?
2 seasons so far. It's been commissioned for a third, but I watched the first season in about 2 days. It's only like 6 episodes, so it wasn't. But for me, it was a lot to take in.
Okay.
And I know, I was kind of like, it's not something that it's not something I would do. Normally, it's just not the way I watch TV. Like with Person of Interest, I've been watching that with my dad and my sister.
Right.
And that has a 5 series in.
On Netflix itself.
Yeah. And we're halfway through season 3.
Okay.
And we don't binge watch it like.
You watch one every so often.
Yeah, we've been watching it since like early 2016, late 2015.
Right, so you've just been taking it like here it comes.
Exactly, yeah.
But do you think that's really good?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
For you, like, do you think that's very good when it comes to what Netflix is very good at? Like, if a season is there, readily available, it gives you that choice.
Oh, yeah.
I hate TV where you have to be like, I have to be here at this time to watch this specific program, or I can record it, watch it when I want. It's like it's just there, and that's why I like DVDs a lot more, like box set DVDs. Because I can watch it all when I want.
Yeah, you can watch it when you want. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people now are going towards streaming services and like don't care as much about like live TV, unless it's something like a football game or something like that. Something that doesn't get streamed on like Netflix or whatever. Then they're moving away from that.
I think it's maybe if like live sports events, I don't think I'll ever go away. I don't think like live stuff will never go away. Like not pre-recorded, so like dramas and stuff. I think they may just move over to a streaming. Maybe, I don't know, with net neutrality coming up. Like it may alter the landscape, but I don't want to go into that because that shit's like it's way too complicated for my head.
It's a lot to take in.
Speaking of a lot to take in, Disney and Fox.
Man,
that deal.
I mean, I thought about it and I thought this is kind of dodgy because you've got one of the biggest corporations in the world now own one of the biggest, major media outlets in the world, and I thought that could be a bit dodgy.
The only thing that they don't own is the news outlets. They don't own any of they own Fox Entertainment.
Yeah,
or 20th Century Fox, whatever it is now. So they get the rights. There was a list of all the stuff, but the main thing for main nerds is X-Men's now back.
Fantastic Four.
Deadpool. They also, I think, I don't know if it was Universal had the rights to name or
Alien vs Predator as well.
Yeah, they get Alien vs Predator. They get Aliens, like the Alien saga. They get Avatar as well, which is.
Oh, they've already built an Avatar park in Disneyland.
Oh, have they?
Yeah,
they're building it.
No, it's already.
Oh, is it already built? Which?
They planned to do it a few years ago. I remember reading a story about how the deal was done, and they're constructing it, and it literally just got finished a few months ago.
Okay.
Which works in nicely.
I think before we delve a little bit deeper into it, I think the overall thing, from my opinion, is that it feels like a monopoly, but it's because of the way Disney operate. Yeah. Like maybe I don't think the quality will go down because the quality of what they put out.
Yeah, there's a lot of quality control with Disney.
Yeah, they want to make sure everything is going to make them money, and that's why I feel when the only area that Disney will suffer in is the video game area, in video games or in games media, like because you know what's happened with Battlefront. That's got a lot of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on with that.
If they ever license any of their properties anywhere, it's going to be very, very difficult for them because now they own a lot of different stuff, but it's going to be difficult for them because developers want to be creative with with the properties that they have. Yeah, I don't think that's going to quite work as well.
Yeah,
make them money, make the developers money because Disney will want to make it. This is why I say that I've said to multiple people about Battlefront is. EA are trying to make back the money they spent. I think it was.
Well, they lost $3 billion on the stock market.
But I think they spent maybe 20 billion, I think, to get the license. I can't.
20 billion.
I can't remember.
Really?
There was a lot of money that they put into EA, but I'll have a look at it.
Jesus.
But what's your opinion on like the whole? Like, do you think it's going to be a monopoly?
I mean, this is kind of weird, but the one thing I took away from it was, as soon as the whole thing was announced, I was like, wait, does this mean Anastasia is now a Disney princess?
Wait, is she?
Yeah, because Anastasia, it's been so frustrating that hasn't like been a Disney. It's not classed as a Disney film, because I absolutely love that film, and I'm just like, I've been thinking, it's not fucking Disney. Why is it not fucking Disney? Fox, why the fuck did you have to make it? Why couldn't you just give it to Disney? But now it's been bought. Anastasia's officially part of the Disney library now.
$4.05 million last October.
That they spent.
Is what EA spent
on the license. How much, sorry? 4 point...
EA and Disney signed exclusive. Let me have a look for the rights. Yeah. Last October. Yeah. The House of Mouse acquired Lucasfilm for $4 billion, which closed last month. I think they paid something like $2 billion to get it.
What? For EA paid $2 billion? Yeah,
so you can understand why they tried to make it. They're trying to make it back with the microtransaction stuff, but they've done it in the wrong way.
Oh yeah. If it was cosmetic, there wouldn't have been so much of a backlash. But did you hear the whole thing with I think it was the head of marketing, I think it was for EA, that said the reason why they didn't do cosmetic like changes in the game said was because that they wanted to be true to the canon.
Yeah.
And is the thing they said, like a Darth Vader in white or pink like wouldn't have looked as good, but that's like a really extreme example.
Yeah,
and it's preserving the canon. Battlefront, you can have Rey battle Darth Maul. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, like,
it's areas of.
I mean, you could. I mean, it's always going to be kind of like because they'd have to get Disney's approval on like
which
cosmetic
I think
changes.
That's why I say that Disney limit a lot of stuff. Like there's like a load of. There's could have been so many cool things that EA could have done. Which I don't know if there's that creative, but have you seen the Bushido Darth Vader? It's like a samurai version of Darth Vader.
No.
It's like he's basically same helmet and stuff, but it's a samurai version. They could have done. There was also
there were a lot of things they could have done.
Things. Maybe even like a Christmas skin for some.
Exactly. I mean, the worst thing was that they tied the progression system to loot boxes.
Yeah.
That's what screwed them over. If they would have done loot boxes any other way, it would have been obviously backlash, but it's a multiplayer game.
The thing is that a lot of people were turned off by that from hearing the reports. They didn't buy it. Yeah. I bought the game because it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars. It's my favourite property that now Disney own because they bought everything I love. They now Disney own everything that you love.
I like Disney before they owned everything.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see, because they've done a great job with with Marvel and the cinematic universe. They don't touch the comics, I don't think. But I think they kind of had a bit. This is the thing I like as we delve in deeper with the whole X-Men thing. In the comics, they were trying to push the Inhumans a lot.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't own the licensings to X-Men, but fans were crying out to give us the X-Men back. They've tried to kill off mutants numerous times since for a long period of time, and people still want the X-Men because X-Men's probably the cornerstone of Marvel. It's like X-Men, Spider-Man, the Avengers, and
Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, definite lie. That makes some millions. But yeah, that's what I think Marvel were like. Okay, well, go buy us, get us the rights back, and now that they have the rights back for X-Men, I think they'll be pushed more in the comics, and I'll be interested to see where they go.
I hope that they don't because the whole thing with the X-Men universe. I don't know whether it would. Because it's also like the whole timelines and everything like that. I can't keep up with it. It's so bloody confusing.
That's what I mean. That's one of the biggest problems I have with it. There's so many continuity problems with the whole thing. Like, I thought
McAvoy or Stewart. These timelines, it's so confusing.
They reset it in Days Future Past, was it? Yeah.
I don't know. I never watched it.
They reset it in that. Well, reset it. I use air quotations lightly. And then they went into Apocalypse, and Apocalypse wasn't that good. It was okay. Yeah. Apocalypse wasn't what I wanted. He looked more like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers movie and he wasn't as menacing as anything. That's another problem as well.
It's like Thanos. He looks fucking badass.
He also looks like Homer.
Yeah.
Have you seen all those memes?
But his voice, I fucking love Josh Brolin's voice. It's like, fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe, but this does put a smile on my face. And I'm just like, oh shit. And
have you seen that meme? Have you seen the meme where it's the Gauntlet and it's Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Marvel Studios, and on the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah,
that's one thing as well. I think
the Fantastic Four need it.
Oh god, they do. Oh god, I've dropped my glasses, but still. Oh my god, that film. I haven't watched it. I choose not to watch it because
the only bit I've watched is something where Thing and Mr. Fantastic are talking, and I think the Thing says fantastic, and he's like, what?
Oh,
it's fantastic. It's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh my god, no. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't fucking pay to watch that.
It wasn't even the Thing. He was a rock monster. That's all he was. He wasn't even human. He was just boulders smashed together. That's not the Thing.
I feel sorry for the Thing. Look, his dick.
Oh god, yeah.
It's a pile of rocks.
Did you know that there's some things that have come good out of it? There's some rumours. One, apparently, Michael Chiklis wants to reprise his role as the Thing.
Is he the guy with the scrotum head?
Yeah, one who's in like a channel on Channel 5, like 5 US or whatever it is. He was in Fantastic for the first one.
Oh yeah, scrotum head.
Yeah. He wants to reprise his role, which makes me think, imagine they got Bruce Willis to play the Thing. Imagine that, because he wouldn't have to do much.
Well, they get Chris Evans to play Captain America and the Human Torch together,
and they both shake hands. They could probably do it. They could CGI Peter. No, not Peter Molyneux. What am I on about?
Fucking Fable.
Fable.
Has nothing to do with
his name?
Chris Evans.
Grand Moff Tarkin. There.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
What's the actor? Peter
Cushing.
Yeah, that's the one. I was thinking that. If they can do that, they can do the Thing.
So when my dad saw Rogue One and he saw fucking Grand Moff Tarkin, like Peter Cushing, he was like, "Is that Peter Cushing?" I was like, "Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. That's him." He was like, "He's dead," and I was like, "Yeah, it's CGI." It's like, "Is it?"
What? So that was.
You couldn't tell at all. It looked really cool. You just couldn't tell.
So that now means that. See, this is the only thing I'm focusing on is I feel that Disney have bought X-Men. Like in my head, it's Disney have bought X-Men and Fantastic Four, and then you realise what else they've bought, and you're like, they've bought a lot for $60 billion.
Anastasia.
They've bought a lot.
Anastasia's worth at least $20 billion.
That's like, to be fair, in the way that they market stuff, they'll have like.
They'll probably do a live action Anastasia.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to stop talking about Anastasia.
They might do a. Like, how many princesses are there at the minute?
What, Disney princesses?
Yeah, because aren't Elsa and Anna classed as...
Yeah, they're classed as Disney
this
princesses.
This podcast has taken a turn.
Yeah. Well, you've got things like Snow... Like, it's sad, I remember so many of this.
I thought you were going to say, we've got Snoke. As a Disney princess. Let it go. Like... Imagine that. Just in a Disney lineup, just Snoke.
You got Snow White, Princess Aurora, Cinderella, and just Snoke. But you've got those, yeah. Snow White, Princess Aurora, Pocahontas, Mulan. Yeah, you've got Cinderella.
Elsa and Anna are classed as them now, aren't they?
Elsa, Anna. Ariel from Little Mermaid. Yeah, that's Princess Aurora.
Oh, is it Princess Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ariel. Who else?
What about Rapunzel's one?
Yeah, Rapunzel from Tangled. Yeah.
Yeah, is she classed as?
Because their
version isn't like, you know. I say traditional princesses, the ones that are like The traditional ones are like the 50s, like.
Yeah, those are the traditional ones. Yeah.
So there's the traditional.
You got the traditional ones. Then they stopped doing a lot of. They stopped doing a lot of Disney princesses.
Prince Jasmine as well.
Yes, because if you think about it, they had like all the main ones that like come through. Belle as well from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, so they had Belle, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty,
Snoke,
Ariel, and then Jasmine with like the 5 that people used to, and then Cinderella was 6, I think.
Yeah.
But they used to like.
Yeah, those, and then you got that one from Brave as well, the redhead one.
Can't remember her name.
Merida,
that's it.
Merida.
But yeah, like that, they could like do like a whole. With Anastasia on there, they could do like a whole lineup now, and they could like include her and do like a
Princess Leia's a Disney princess as well.
Shit.
Yeah, she's classed as one. Yeah.
As if.
I know, it's funny.
That's cool. That I never really thought of that actually.
It's pretty cool.
So what about Scarlet Witch and Scarlett Johansson? But with their classes of now.
That's a difficult one. I mean,
are they a separate property?
Problem is Black Widow's a bit of a whore. So.
Well, yeah, she can't have babies.
Yeah,
that's one thing that kind of cuts. Yeah. That's one of the decisions in that really hit me.
No repercussions. Wee.
She's definitely got red in her ledger.
Oh my gosh. Oh Jesus.
But going full circle back round to what Disney now own is. I'm interested to see how they incorporate Fantastic Four and X-Men. What I don't want is a bullshit cop-out.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, the government have been hiding mutants this entire time.
Yeah.
And like technically Scarlet Witch is a mutant when she isn't because she got tainted
Magneto's like, those 2 are my children, point at Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
The thing is that we don't know where that could be a good fun story that they think that their parents or they think that their father's dead and their mother and father are dead. But their father is actually Magneto. He escaped, and now he continues the vendetta against Iron Man and the Avengers for destroying.
That would be quite interesting.
Sokovia, and then that's how they bring Magneto in as a villain, and they could actually have a fucking good villain. Like
that would be pretty cool.
And then they do A versus X, Avengers versus X-Men, or something like that.
The whole problem with Marvel and their villains is that. The villains only last for one film, with the exception of guys like Thanos and Loki. If you think about all the villains that have come in, been introduced, and then die in the same film.
Yeah. I still think that Loki's...
You got like Malekith from Thor.
Oh, don't get me started on that. He's worst... No. Second worst. The worst is Whiplash. In Iron Man 2. And he's just not... No one ever thinks of him as a villain.
Well, that's a shame because Mickey Rourke said that he wanted to develop the character more.
They didn't want to.
And they didn't want to. They just wanted... He said they just wanted to have a generic villain. And he got so pissed off. I can understand why.
Yeah.
You want to be in a role that you're going to remember and want other people to remember.
And
you just copy and paste, cut and paste.
They did it twice. They did it with that, and they also did it with Mandarin.
Oh fuck!
Don't
even start with the fucking Mandarin. That pissed me off
because I was like, Ben Kingsley's gonna have fucking psychic powers or some shit.
He looks so cool as the fucking Mandarin, like in those bits where like he'd do like the propaganda videos and he killed that guy. And I was like, that's fucking badass. And then they just like, I'm not the real Mandarin, and I'm just like, fuck off.
No, I'm a guy that shoots chemical fire out of my whole body.
But then they did that one shot. Thing, didn't they? Yeah, where it's revealed that Ben Kingsley's character isn't actually the Mandarin, and or that he's not the Mandarin, and that this person who's basically come to like interview him while he's in prison works for the real Mandarin.
Right, gotcha.
He basically says you've stolen like
the mantra or whatever.
Yeah,
it is, like
and he's like, there's somebody who wants to meet you. It's like, do I know who they are? It's like, no.
No one does, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, but you did take his name, and he wants it back.
Okay.
And it's like,
turns out it's just a postal delivery guy who's got the same name called Joey Mandarin, or something like that. He's got like he's a Russian mob post office guy, and he's just like, he took my name.
Package for Tony Stank.
That would be good. Actually, if I repeat that. That's another thing. What do you think Stan Lee's role is going to be in Infinity War?
Ooh.
This is all over. This is my idea. Like, I swear I've got ADHD of the brain. Like, my brain's like, something fun. And he goes, yeah. So what do you think about Tony Stark?
Oh.
No, Tony Stark, Tony Stank.
Yeah, Tony Stank.
Stanley.
Stanley, there we go, we got there. I think that's going to be... I mean, I don't think Stanley's ever going to have a major role in the MCU. I think that... Well, I mean, their whole thing's been linked to him being a watcher or, linked to the Watchers, which is really cool. Because it kind of gives him like a purpose in the MCU rather than just being a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Turns out he's the last Infinity Stone. Yeah. He's just like Thanos kills Stan Lee on film and everyone like outcries, but he's actually an Infinity Stone.
You just see his face on the gauntlet.
That one of him at that Comic-Con where he's just got the biggest smile on his face. Yeah.
That would be funny.
But how would you want to see them introduce the X-Men? How would you want to see them introduced?
I think very slowly. I think what would be cool, introduce the biggest one, Wolverine, first, because Hugh Jackman's not reprising the role anymore.
There was rumours that he would, but I was like, they can't, because I don't think he'll continue playing him. Like...
No, Logan was a perfect end for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It was a perfect end for him.
So who would you cast?
Stephen Hawking.
I can't wait. No.
I don't know a Wolverine line.
What is Wolverine? Wolverine hasn't got a line, has he? Flame on. That's just human.
He just comes in a wheelchair.
Stephen Hawking's the new fucking Human Torch. Oh my god. Oh dear.
That would be funny.
I was thinking for a period of time Tom Hardy, but he's doing Venom.
Yeah.
So that would be way too confusing if they'd picked him to do another one.
Is Venom part of? Is that part of?
No.
He's not owned by Marvel. Or is it Sony?
No, Sony. He is owned, but Sony are doing their own one-off films. I think maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kevin Feige needs to get that
whip
back into shape, man. I want Venom. But then again, there's so many different Spider-Man villains that they can do now. Because Spider-Man 2's been announced.
Carnage.
Yep. Well, I don't know if that comes under the banner of the symbiote, but the symbiote, if it's that.
Doc Ock as well.
That'd be good.
Dr. Otto Octavius. Who else? Green Goblin, obviously.
They could do that. They could do Green Goblin.
They've done Vulture, haven't they? So.
Yeah, they did like a more mechanical, which is I liked how they did it, not like some
more
bird.
realistic.
I'd love to see him do Mysterio.
Mysterio would be cool.
That's
and like his little glass.
But they could. Oh mate, they wouldn't do it because Spider-Man's so PG at the minute. They wouldn't do. Imagine they did a Spider-Man Deadpool crossover.
Yeah.
Did you hear that about Deadpool? That the Disney CEO said Deadpool can stay R-rated.
Oh yes, I'm glad he said that.
He said they can stay there because they've built a brand off that.
Yeah.
Stay there because that's
good. That's good. I like that.
And even if like Wolverine goes back to being PG-13
or
PG-15, at least he will be. He had a proper send-off at R-rated.
Yeah, because that was a really gory film, but it's the best way that you could have. It was just really, really cool. Like getting them to see wreck so many people.
Yeah,
so many and then just go out after being absolutely.
A lot of people that I've looked online, a lot of people I've spoke to about film on the internet, they say that they didn't like how he died, how spoilers if you haven't seen Logan, he dies. That's how they're going to continue it on if you made out the X-23 whatever that ship sailed. They could just bring her back into the MCU.
Yeah. Just for them to team up with the Avengers, but a different actor.
I'd love for them to get. It has to be short. It has to be short, bulky. There's not a lot of guys I can think that could do that. Tom Hardy, man, I would love for Tom Hardy to play him.
He would be a good.
Maybe if they turn it around and they get him before DC do, Jake Gyllenhaal, maybe as a Wolverine. Maybe if he could pull up the mutton chops. You gotta pull off the mutton chops. That's the thing. That beard is so iconic. But there's so many villains. Who would you get to play Patrick Stewart? Well, who would you get to play? Yeah, Patrick Stewart is because for me he's Professor X.
Yeah.
And then young Professor X is always going to be James McAvoy for me.
Yeah, that's true. Who do you get?
Ian McKellen comes back as Professor X.
That would be
maybe someone who's already bald, And Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, fuck off. Don't even start.
Get someone like that. Let me see if I can... I'll have a look in a minute. I'll have a look at what there is.
But moving on to the biggest film that's come out
of this year. Well, for us.
Yeah.
I'd say for me anyway.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
Insert the Last Jedi here.
Yeah.
Insert Kylo Ren memes here.
Insert Luke drinking milk meme.
Blue milk. Was it green or blue?
I can't
blue,
remember. Yeah, I think it was blue. It looked dodgy. I don't know if that was the right place to get the milk out of, but you know, it looked pretty grim.
Who knows?
But I was looking on Rotten Tomatoes.
Also, right, if you didn't know, we're 40 minutes into the podcast. Spoilers from this point on about The Last Jedi. I've been waiting a week to talk about it with somebody who I saw the film with. That's George. So
That's
spoilers here on from this point on.
Yeah. So turn it off.
If you want to skip ahead, feel free. We'll probably be talking for another half an hour, 40 minutes. Who knows?
About Star Wars.
I can't. Right. Let's go into it then.
All right. So I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score,
Which I've got up now.
Yeah. 93% of critics gave it a positive rating.
Mm-hmm.
About 57% of users gave it a positive rating.
You know, it's changed.
Has it?
It's 92% now of
Critics.
Of critics, and then 54 of fans, which I think is perfect.
I mean, it's a very polarizing, decisive film, isn't it? It's a lot of stuff happens that a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
But I really liked it.
The thing I think people need to realise about the whole film, and with Star Wars, is if they were to write everything that a fan theorised, there would be everyone would have a problem. Everyone would have a problem with the film, no matter what. So I respect the decisions that Rian Johnson. Is it Ryan or Rian? I think it's Rian.
Ryan. I say
Johnson.
Ryan, but it's fucking Rian.
And yes, I'd filmed a review for it, but didn't want to put it out because I wanted to see it again before I reviewed it. But I kind of just want to talk about spoilers. Yeah. Some of the decisions that I think he made in the film didn't make sense, but then there's some things that are in it that didn't make sense. That's just plot wise, but visually,
it's stunning.
Fucking incredible. Like, there's no way of being like that's a bad looking film. That's what I think everyone's major problem is the plot. Yeah. And like the certain plot elements. It's not that it's not shot well, it's not that it's poorly edited or it doesn't look great. There are some shots in that film which you've said to me is like, what did you say to me about?
From as your fucking wallpaper.
Yeah. And there's about 5 scenes you could put in there.
Yeah.
What would you put? What would be in your 5 that you had to put? Like, or would you say there's 5, or would you say you've got one definitive?
Luke drinking the milk. But in all seriousness, probably. I love the bit where Luke is he's about to strike down Kylo Ren with the lightsaber. As soon as he turns it on, he's like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
And then Kylo Ren turns around and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then
Ben Solo.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Force Awakens, it's Ben Solo. If you don't know, it's by
He turns around and just kind of like they have that thing, and he's like, "No," and then comes down. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool how Luke tried to pass off his fake story to Rey first, and then Ren told him from his perspective, which then forced Luke to tell Rey the true story of what actually happened. I thought that was cool. The casino planet was meh. I really like Benicio del Toro's character. I thought that was awesome. I thought he was really good.
He sounded too much like Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Dark. Like, but I can understand that whole planet for me was. It was fun.
It was filler.
Yeah, it was such filler. It was like an extra 20 minutes that probably didn't need to be there.
Well, it's like how it's like that. Every Star Wars film kind of has that. If you look at Phantom Menace, the Gungans, like when
I say that that face I pulled, I just pulled a face where you're like
it was like pulling at you.
Yeah.
Colour, you just
the Gungans, that's filler.
The Gungans, that's filler. Episode 2, the factory scene, just before they go into the G&O scene arena.
And
filler.
Naboo,
Yeah.
the whole fucking thing on sand.
I hate
it's irritating.
Sand. Here's a question. What does Anakin hate more? Lava or sand?
Sand. It gets everywhere.
But you can attribute the same thing with lava. I hate lava. It's rough. It's irritating. And it gets everywhere. But in episode 3, the bit where they're on Utapau. And with the giant hamster wheel.
Yeah. No, I would say
I mean, to be honest, that film, to give it credit, Revenge of the Sith, everything kind of felt like it needed to be there. There wasn't a thing where you like, well, that didn't really need to be in the film.
The thing that I probably didn't really need it to be there is all the like fucking gay shots of Anakin sitting in a chamber being like, while they're going to try and kill Palpatine, and he's just there like, just looking into the distance. There's sunshine. Like, if he's worried about, but like Padme's in a different fucking area, why didn't they just send him and sit with Padme? Because no one would fucking know, right? He would know, right? But he would be with Padme, so he'd be like, oh, fuck, let me just think a minute. Let Mace Windu kill the Emperor. We wouldn't have had all this shit happen. Yeah. We wouldn't have had Darth Vader. But then that's just a fan theory. It's like, okay, do that. Yeah. This is what George Lucas decides to do.
I mean, I quite like that scene because it's like Anakin staring off at the distance and Padme staring off at the distance, and they're like shots like,
I know,
and like, you know, they're looking at each other but they can't see each other.
Yeah,
and they're thinking about each other, and it's like, I thought that was quite nice. But,
beat off.
Yeah.
Just go and fucking beat off Anakin if you're that fucking horny about Padme. Just do it.
Well, but to be honest, their relationship in Revenge of the Sith was better than in Attack of the Clones. Like their relationship in Attack of the Clones, like constituted as, you know, two wooden chairs stacked on top of each other would make a better love scene than Anakin and Padme. You know what I mean? But
I mean, she's wearing some like BDSM shit in that film. Not gonna lie, and he's there and like, she's like, I have to resist.
She's all like, ooh, we can't do anything. I'm a senator and a queen. It's like, it just won't work. And it's like, you're tormenting me. It's like, well, that feels good.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
He's just got.
Imagine if you just put that scene in the film. It'd be so fucking hilarious. Okay, stop. Let's stop back.
Tommy Wiseau.
You just put Tommy Wiseau as Anakin Skywalker.
You turned her against me. I can't do a Tommy Wiseau.
It's bullshit. I did not choke her. I did not.
You're tormenting me, Padme.
Imagine him saying the same dialogue, but within that, it's just like.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Tommy Wiseau. That would be fucking great.
That'd be brilliant.
Okay, so back to The Last Jedi.
Yeah, with like filler. I can kind of like, you know, I understand it. There needs to be something kind of like in there, but the secondary plot is kind of wasn't great.
So let's outline it then. Let's kind of go, because I can kind of remember the whole plot through stuff. I might forget one or two things. So film starts off with the dreadnought scene. That was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. Like,
I thought that was pretty cool.
It was a lesson.
Yeah.
And I think it was
a kind of like, you got all these people killed, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to just run away.
Yeah, rather than just
try and take everyone on.
Yeah, but fair play to Poe. He did fucking do a cool job at like taking everything out, and he's one hell of a pilot. I like that scene visually because that ship came out and we were both just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
or that one girl, what's it, Rose's sister, who's just kind of like on the bottom, and she was like really hurt, and she's just like banging the top thing for to come down. I thought that was cool, and like how she dies.
Speaking of Rose, okay, go with the plot. We'll come back round to Rose. Yeah. So then we got that. Then we've got the Snoke kicking General Hux's ass.
Oh yeah, he fucked him up badly.
And then we go to we cut to them escaping. We cut back to Rey with Luke, and he chucks the lightsaber over his shoulder, like just completely demonetizing 2 years of like all fan theories. But like I was thinking about this, and something that Jeremy John said that stuck out to me is like, why after like that amount of time
would he not be like, how in the fuck have you found this?
I haven't seen this since I got my hand cut off.
You know what I mean? Like, how did he get it back? And it's like, for the most part, how did
Maz
Kanata get it back?
Yeah, well, that hasn't been explained yet, has it?
So that was the thing I was like...
I can understand that. But I think he was so kind of like sick of being like even associated with like the Jedi. He was just kind of like get that. He was like, get that shit out of my face.
And then it cuts to more just dialogue with Luke and on the island.
Yeah, I thought Luke and Rey were really good in the film.
That area, I'd like to have seen maybe more training, but I can see why that might have bogged down a bit. But that relationship between Luke and Rey was very good.
Yeah, because it takes them a while before Luke will even consider teaching Rey anything.
It's more just like a shut off.
Yeah. Shut himself off.
Which is scary that he shut himself off, because like some of the stuff towards the end of the film, he shows his true power. But you got that, and you got the Kylo and the Rey scenes that I thought were really misleading. So I was like, is like Rey gonna like be influenced by the dark side now, and then she's gonna turn? Like, I thought this was.
Yeah, I thought Kylo and Rey were really good together.
I actually thought that they were gonna flip positions in the whole grand scheme of things. I thought that.
Yeah,
Kylo would be like, "Oh my god, I killed my father!" Like talks to Leia or Luke or something. And Rey's just like so filled with hate because of what Kylo did.
Yeah.
And then I thought Rey would become the new Sith or new member of the Sith, and then Kylo. But I also like the direction that they did go in anyway.
I quite liked it.
So there's that, and then there was the whole planet of the runny horses or whatever the hell they were.
Yeah, casino planet.
That was kind of just a side thing, but Finn was really cool. I really liked his persona.
I wish they would have utilised him a bit better. I think, because John Boyega is so fucking charismatic.
Yeah, and he makes me think of Harrison Ford. Like, I feel like he's been working, because he's worked a lot with Harrison Ford on the previous one. He's kind of taken a bit of what he did. He applied to Han Solo, because he had. So I'd say that Harrison Ford probably had the most fun in that role that he has had in a lot of his other films. And maybe it's just because he knew that he was going to die. He was just like, I'm going to have fun, go all out with it, because I know my character's...
how the Force works.
It's like, that's my fucking character dead. Like,
that's
not how the Force works.
Oh, really? You're cold?
I think he had some of the best lines.
The best lines, best moments. Yeah.
And then, so there's that casino planet, but I think John Boyega, they really underutilised him as much a little bit. Poe, they did utilise more, which I was happy about.
They kind of treated him a bit like an idiot, though, like a happy-go-lucky idiot, which is.
But one thing I didn't get is
cool
why Admiral Holden, is it Holden or Holgan?
Is that
the pink-haired lady?
Oh yeah.
Why she wouldn't just tell him? Like, why she wouldn't just tell everyone on the ship?
It would have saved a lot of
conflict. It would have just saved a lot of people being like, "Oh, we're wasting time. Why couldn't you just help us fill up these transport ships?"
Maybe she didn't. Maybe it was because she didn't trust Poe. But that begs the question: why wouldn't you tell anyone else?
Yeah.
And you know that she wouldn't have really told anyone else, because Poe was able to lead a mutiny against her.
Oh fuck! We've missed one bit. We've missed something even worse. Mary Poppins. Like something that scene, right? That scene was beautifully shot. But like,
I was like, what the fuck?
Like, I thought, right, they were going to do like some real picturesque scene of her in space, and she would fade, like how Ben Kenobi faded, or Obi-Wan fades in the other ones, and how they all fade and stuff. I thought it was going to be that, and then when she starts like twitching and it's like she's now the second Mary Poppins in the whole Disney universe.
Well, third, fucking young.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Mary Poppins, y'all. But it's
so
it was a strange one, especially like. It's like you said, because I was thinking the same thing. I was waiting throughout the film thinking,
when are they going to kill her?
Yeah, when does Carrie Fisher go die? Which is horrible.
Yeah,
it's obviously something that you wouldn't normally think, but it's just kind of like you thought, it definitely surprised me, because I thought she was going to die.
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah, that was a curveball, because I liked the film because there were so many surprise moments that made me go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, it's insane.
But like, some of them were like, what?
Kylo Ren shirtless was one.
Yes, like, and then Luke taking his nipples and
Yeah.
getting female cut. That was like a what the fuck moment. Like it was like a what the hell is going on? My Star Wars nerdgasm is going all over the place with some of the shots.
Yeah.
There was film like what the hells, like what the fucks, like hyperspace scene where Holden flies through the Snoke
that was
ship.
fucking badass.
That was incredible.
Because the sound just cuts out and you just have a time to appreciate the fucking spectacle of it.
Yeah.
And like some people have complained saying like, oh, like, you know, that's stupid. You can't destroy something like if you go into hyperspace. I'm like, well, it was kind of established in the first film that, you know, going into hyperspace isn't really a joke. You know,
it's risky.
Yeah,
because they came out of it, didn't they?
In a fucking asteroid field, and they're just kind of like.
And then also in Force Awakens, they come out of. They have to.
Yeah.
Come out of hyperspace in behind the shield, and then also in. What was it? When they're in the ship. They're in that ship on in Force Awakens as well with the Rathtars. That's also a thing, but. See, that type of stuff pisses me off. I'm like, just appreciate something cool. Like, excuse me, let me just make a point here.
It's not realistic. It's fucking space wizards.
That's one thing that good bits of dialogue is between Rey and... between all the good bits between Rey and Luke is... He calls it a laser sword. It's like, I'm going to run in with a laser sword and fucking wreck shit. Like, that's what he said. Like...
Yeah.
But running out the rest of the film, there's the whole... Then things come to a pinnacle. The transport ships are trying to escape. Holden does that. There's also...
Snoke gets cut in half.
Well, yeah, there's the lead up to that, isn't there?
Yeah.
But that's a really cool scene.
But it's the thing, though, with the whole lead up, because Snoke says that he manipulated, like, Kylo Ren and Rey to kind of, like, you know, they thought they had a connection, but it was just Snoke playing with them.
Yeah.
You know, Snoke's a fucking G, man. Like, he's like, because he did it at the time. The time he decided to, like, get them to have a Force connection was when Kylo Ren was getting dressed. So he thought, I'm going to get Rey to fucking think, oh, man, he fucking benches. He's Force benches, fucking, like, you know, you said 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah, Force benches is just like, yeah, I just couldn't have lifted, bro. Like,
yeah, so it's just like, you pick the fucking perfect moment. So it's like, okay. Yes, yeah, okay. Oh shit, oh yeah.
But then
he's
like,
in the middle of a workout. I'm gonna fucking
thinking
do
about
it
that,
this
though,
time.
It's like, what if Snoke knew where Rey was? Why didn't they go to the planet? And then my counter argument to that is, well, he may see Kylo's memories of her, and he had a Force connection or something like that, and he just manipulated that to find her Force energy, but couldn't pinpoint where she was, because they both couldn't pinpoint where they were. Only certain senses, so like the water was on his face and
Wet.
on his body, and he was jacked. I was like, Adam Driver's a jacked dude, man. Like,
he was jacked. He looked fucking big, and I was like, man, Kylo Ren in Force Awakens look like a little bitch.
Yeah, he looks skinny, like,
but he looked fucking.
And he doesn't
big.
even have time to like go bench 50, like between films, because it's like right after.
Yeah, man.
But there's that scene with Snoke. I was happy that happened. I thought something else was going to happen. I thought I thought this is what I was in my head. But this is where I say that the problem is if everything went the way I thought, right, then it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it'd have been like, okay, I expected that. that. I thought what was going to happen was after they did the first, like, they weren't going to flop over and switch over, and Rey was going to be bad or Kylo would be good. It was going to be a battle between Luke and Snoke and Rey and Kylo, and the lightsaber battles would be between those two, but the Force battles would be between Luke and Snoke.
Oh, okay.
But then that obviously didn't happen. It was more...
He got cut in half.
Yeah, he got cut in half, but I feel like it was cool because...
He ain't no Darth Maul.
A fun thing that Scott Tailford from What Culture spoke about, and he addressed the point to me on Twitter. Well, I was talking to him about something on Twitter, and then he also put another post up, was fun thing to think about is he picks up because he's so conflicted, he picks up the lightsaber in his right hand, the 3-pronged one, his red one, and he kills Snoke with his left. If you know what I mean, because if you're looking at it, it's like his left side of him, which is the light side, kills Snoke, and that could be the last of that happening. But then the scene after that was so cool, like the fights against the Praetorian Guards.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the best scenes
that was
like,
a cool
in
scene.
the movie.
That was a cool scene. I mean,
like headshotting a dude, like with a lightsaber.
That was cool. What he's like forced and it's
yeah.
And then like I love the before I go on to it, it's talking about Rey and the parentage. With Snoke, people were annoyed that he wasn't explained, that people didn't know who he was. So I'm like, well, you didn't. In the original trilogy, nobody knew who the fucking Emperor was.
Yeah, until
George
the prequels
Lucas
was like, let me fix that.
So I think it was perfectly fine.
And then there was
I would like to know a bit more about him, but you know, I thought they did. I thought it was all.
They killed
fine.
off a character that I didn't care about as much. I didn't build up a care for. I was like,
the main person, the main bad guy we should care about is Kylo Ren.
Now, and I think that's where it's going to be. And I think
it's good to have that focus because now the New Order's been taken over by someone who's an impulsive, angry dude.
Yeah,
and they're going to suffer for that.
Do you think General Hux was that as well at the start of the film?
He was, and he kind of like I think in the next film he's going to turn on Kylo Ren, and he's going to.
Well, he already started to, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he just got choked. He got choked out. I thought he was dead though. When he was like long live the Supreme.
Yeah.
Or like all hail the Supreme or whatever it is leader. And I thought he'd just been choked out and died.
Yeah.
But that obviously didn't happen. I think they want to keep his character around. Maybe.
Yeah, I like Donald Gleeson. So.
Maybe it's because Kylo doesn't know, like, if he gets rid of Hux, then who's next to replace him? Maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
I like the whole idea of Rey coming from nothing because, like, everyone was talking about how she's like,
Kenobi.
Like a Kenobi, or how she's like she doesn't have to be related to the original cast or make it seem like she's like some kind of like like badass where she's like from a badass line of people. She's
the Skywalker heritage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've already got that with Kylo Ren. It's nice and poetic in a way that she's come from nothing, but she worked her way up, and like the Force it made the Force more mysterious as well.
Yeah,
and there was no mention of the midichlorians and all that shit.
Like, the one thing that I've looked at with the past 2 films, and comparing it to the prequels, is there's a lot of different things of Kylo and Rey that I look at, and I make maybe they didn't do it on purpose. It's just me looking at it. Is Anakin came from nothing. Like, if you think about it, there was no like. Thing talking about him, like there was no talk of his father, it was just his mum.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Rey is very similar to that. Is we don't know where she's come from. We don't know. We know that her families were junkies. That's like such a where you came from. Your parents were junkies. Like they sold you for trade, and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Cool down with the burns, dude. Like
it's like you're nothing, and he's like, but not to me. And Rey's like, ooh.
But did you get that whole thing with the dark side? Like, were you like, oh, for fuck's sake? Which is what Rey kind of did. Which was like, really, dude? Like, when Kylo was like, forget the past, join me! Like, and then it was just like, oh, fuck's sake, dude. Like, can you not just be good?
Yeah, I did want it to be good. I thought that when they said, we'll rebuild the First Order, I was kind of thinking, well, maybe he's kind of like, he's not going to be full evil, because he's got Rey. He's kind of going to be a bit... like a bit between the two, but you got like Kylo's like come to the First Order, and Rey's like no, come to the Resistance, and it's like they couldn't meet on the middle ground, which is what I thought that they were going to do, and then Rey's just like, nope.
Do you think that was that lightsaber scene? Probably me thinking this. Do you think it's a metaphor for that? When the lightsaber, they're both fighting over the lightsaber. One's being drawn to the light, one's being drawn to the dark, and then it just explodes, and that's the last of
Yeah,
the lightsaber.
Yeah, it's kind of just like, well, it's been wielded by Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. So it's kind of like, you know, it's experienced both the dark side and the light side. So it's just kind of like, it was like, fuck it, just
don't get me started on that.
It's like you can have one end of me, you can have the other end, and it just went bang.
Or you can be like, the floor is dead, younglings. Like if you
lava
think
ground.
That was another thing that we were laughing about in the film, just the whole lava ground.
From my point of view, you have the lava ground.
I have the high ground. Other decisions that the movie made. The last act of the film, after the Praetorian Guard bit, was solid.
Yeah,
like, I thought it was
awesome.
It kind of rounded out.
Yeah.
It went great ending, middle, It was kind of a bit like there was bits that didn't need to be there, and there was just a lot of build up of stuff.
Yeah, but I thought the ending was very well executed.
Mate, our faces when I didn't really look at you because I was like agape, but I could imagine your face was like, what? When Luke was just taking a pounding, like to all those.
I was like, oh shit! I was like, yeah, he's dead, and then he just gets up and I was like,
shakes it off.
He shook it off his shoulder. I was like, oh. Fudge! I was like, Jesus Christ! And me and Ben looked at each other. We were like, what the fuck just happened? And he's like dodging all the attacks, and I'm like,
Ben didn't really like it. I spoke to Ben a couple of days ago. He said he wasn't that big fan of it.
It was funny though when Admiral Akbar pops up in it. Me and Ben just looked at each other. We went, "It's a trap."
You know what would have been cool
if he did it.
Yeah, if he'd done that thing. Jeremy John said that, and I was like, that'd be really fucking cool.
Yeah, it would have been pretty cool rather than bringing a new character just for her.
Off.
Yeah, just for her to
be a plot device, pretty much.
But I enjoyed the film. And
I thought they'd brought her in originally to replace Leia's role as Admiral or General of the thingy. But
it's funny that Leia dies in real life and Laura Dern is still alive. But then they're just like, nah, we'll kill Laura Dern, this character.
Like, I think it didn't go to the way that they had planned, which I think it was. Force Awakens was going to be Han's movie. Last Jedi was going to be Luke's movie, and then
last
Leia's.
One, going to be
but
the last one.
I feel that the way that Luke went, I don't think it's the last we'll see of Luke. Though.
No, Force Ghost.
Luke is not dead. People were saying to me, Luke Skywalker dies. No, Luke Skywalker is not dead. Like Yoda is not dead.
His physical body is dead.
His physical body is.
His soul.
He became one with the Force, and that's where all Jedi is. It kind of adds one thing to the past. It's like Jedis can die, but they can die before they become one with the Force, so they can just get their head cut off, or as Mace Windu gets thrown off a building. Like he's dead. Like he would have died. He wouldn't have been. Imagine if Rey was Mace Windu's daughter. Imagine if Mace Windu was Snoke.
Oh wow!
Like imagine that. That's why he's got Force lighting.
That would be quite funny.
But then if I was to make an article, 500-word article talking about that, and being like, "This is why I hate Last Jedi because it wasn't Mace Windu as Snoke," that's
or Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. I mean, he looked a little bit like Jar Jar. Just to put the gun in his eye. But yeah, so overall thoughts of the movie.
I would say that was probably one of my favourite movies of 2017, and I think the best movie since Empire Strikes Back, best Star Wars movie. I think so. I mean, people have criticised it, saying when people criticised The Force Awakens, saying it was a rehash of the A New Hope, and that then didn't do anything different, and they played it safe. And then they do something really different from the last Jedi.
In a different direction.
And they're like, no, that's too different. That's too much change. And I'm just like, fucking make up your mind.
I look at Force Awakens differently. I think of it
I really enjoyed it.
Like if you think about it, right? What did the Empire do when the Death Star got destroyed? They built another fucking Death Star. So what do you think the First Order would do if they blew up let's build another fucking bigger weapon that destroys more things? Like, what are you
We're going to put it on a bigger planet this time.
Like, what are we going to do? Like, we're just going to keep our little round moon. No, we go bigger than that. That's where I was like, yeah, it's a similar rehash, but like, that's what has worked. So that's what they're going to... Evil people are going to do that. They're going to be like, oh... that thing was big, let's build it bigger and more powerful and more dangerous.
They say, yeah, so the Emperor's like, yeah, so you know that little hole that goes right to the core of the Death Star? do you think that should be Millennium Falcon size? And I'm like, yes.
But I feel like it's a different. Like, Force Awakens for me was, if you've watched the other films, yes, it's a rehash. But for people that have never seen Star Wars introduced before, to it, that's the first introduction, and then you could be like this is why if I have children in the future, I don't want to watch the new. I want them to watch 4, 5, and 6 first, because I want them to have that point. I really want to watch it, see them go. Oh, when he goes, "I'm your father," and they're like, and he's like, "What?" Like go like nuts for the first time. Like, yep. Like,
and then put them in the prequels and then new trilogy.
Yeah,
because that's the way I've watched it. I watched it original trilogy first, then I watched the prequels, and then I watched the newer trilogy.
It's sad that I got into Star Wars with Phantom Menace. Oh. That was the first one I saw, because the only reason I got it so much into Star Wars because I loved the Darth
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, okay. Darth Maul and thingy fight, Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fight. I would have liked to be a teenager when the Phantom Menace came out, just to see the trailer, because like in the trailer there's like in the original trailer, like right at the end you see Darth Maul. Yeah.
And then imagine the reaction of people going,
that was the reaction. That was the reaction I had when Kylo. It was at the end of the trailer, and Kylo Ren just walks up and goes, like pokes, and then turns into a Swiss Army knife, like in some of the memes that there is.
And then he drinks some blue milk.
For me, my list goes Empire still number 1.
I'd have to agree.
And then I put Return of the Jedi at number 2.
Yeah.
Force Awakens and Last Jedi are both number 3 for me. Then Star Wars, then Revenge of the Sith, Clone. No, Rogue One before after Return of the Jedi. Then it's Force Awakens and Last Jedi together at 4. And then Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, Clones, Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace, then Clones. Clones is the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I'd do it similar. I'd have Empire Strikes Back, The Last Jedi, because I really like that. Then I'd go with original Star Wars, then Revenge of the Sith, then I'd go Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones is generally what I would receive as the worst.
I didn't think it was bad, but it was just...
It's boring. Like, there's only some scenes in it, I'm like... I watched that film and we're like, okay, let's go to the cool scene. Let's go to Django versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay, done that. Let's go to Genosha.
Yeah.
That's not the end of the film.
Yeah, exactly. There just seems to be... The whole film is a lot of filler.
Yeah.
Like, I know we talked about the factory scene, but a lot of the film is filler.
Yeah.
Just kind of
even that scene, like, it gave a little bit more purpose to what Finn and Rose were doing.
Yeah.
That's also what I wanted to bring back to. I forgot about that. Rose, if they'd have made, like, they could have cut that scene out, made her know some knowledge. Like, she was taught by her sister knowledge of system, like hyperspace systems.
Yeah, she could have been a hacker.
And then that way they could have done it that way, like, and they could have been like, we are sending, like, they could have sent a space shuttle that could have got onto the ship.
It could have been them on the ship.
Cut out that 20 minutes.
Cut out the casino planet.
Did you notice the kid with the force powers at the end?
Yeah, I saw that where he like forces the broom.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And you know what he should have done with the force? You should get him to do the fucking what was that old Disney thing from Fantasia where
Mickey
Mouse has the brooms.
He's like
he should have just done that.
Get the for a 3 hour fresh in the mood, like 3 hours.
And just done that and forced it. That would have been cool.
I like the ending because there's a couple of scenes at the end where you see the Millennium Falcon fly off and everyone flies off at the end. But then it's the scene where Rey is just standing there with her hand out and all the rocks are in the air. It's like, Jesus Christ, she's that powerful at that period of time.
Yeah, and she hasn't even had that much training.
No, and it's just like, that's what I want to see. But the thing is, I think they're going to do one more film and then I think they'll scrap this trilogy. I think they'll scrap the characters of Rey, Finn, Kylo, unless there's something that they're going to do continued on with that, which would probably be more dragged out. I think they're going to just that's it. That will take them through.
Well, that's the Star Wars formula. But what would be? I mean, they've brought Luke, Leia, and Han from the old trilogy to the new trilogy, so maybe some characters will go from one to the other.
Yeah.
So I think the main ones that will probably go will be, or the ones that might end up being involved in it in some way, were three main ones: Rey, Finn, and Poe.
And Poe, yeah, and then Kylo as well, maybe.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen.
I think that if they round it out in a good way and they leave it just not open-ended, but they leave it where the kind of where the characters were at the end of Return of the Jedi. They leave it like that. I'll be happy. But if they just leave it so it's like, this is a good send-off. They've given the old characters a good send-off. These new characters have finished the trilogy just like they did in the originals. And then they go on to what Rian Johnson. I'm excited to see what Rian Johnson's going to do though, because he said that it's J.J. Abrams is taking over, which I feel that's where the writing things come into problem, like some of the continuity things, because there's two different writers. But maybe Rian will work with J.J. Abrams again, and they'll be able to sort it out
I think that would be a good idea to have J.J. Abrams do The Force Awakens, to have Rian Johnson do The Last Jedi, and the two of them to collaborate to make...
so as writers or producers.
Yeah, exactly, where they're both kind of like at the helm, they both have ideas, kind of like, and they,
because I know J.J. Abrams is definitely directing the next one.
Yeah, it'd be good if they got Rian Johnson in some capacity, because
they probably will do.
I really liked
Disney. I like that.
Yeah,
with,
I quite like The Force Awakens. I thought he did a good job with it.
We'll have lens flares again.
He loves his lens flares. He loves his fucking lens flares.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with his original, his new trilogy. It's supposed to be a new trilogy set in the Star Wars universe, set way off in a different galaxy or something like that.
Interesting.
But we're gonna have our ragtag band of ragscallions with Han Solo more than likely, where we'll have a young Lando, a young Han, and that type of thing, which will fill the gap.
We need a black guy.
Oh yeah, I don't think they wouldn't do Lando. I don't think they do Lando films. They've done it in the comics, so they don't really need to do that.
Yeah,
but they've got they're
Billy D.
free
Williams would probably.
They're free up to 2020, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, 2019. So it'll be 2018. The Han Solo Untitled film will be up, and then it'll be the Awakens from his sleep in 2019. If you get the pun there. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi from his sleep.
I got it. I got it.
What else, what could they do? I don't know. If they took a year off, I'd be happy. If they took a year off and they reorganised stuff.
A Porg captains the Millennium Falcon. I'd say we've talked about Star Wars for 20-30 minutes. We haven't even discussed Porgs.
Because Porgs are awesome.
They are quite cute. I mean, it's so obvious that they're a marketing ploy. They're there to fucking sell merchandise, but I can't hate them.
I don't.
I just like them. I
can see why people have got mixed feelings towards the film.
I've told you, one of the Porgs, Han Solo reincarnated. Let me tell you.
Yeah, this is it. Rian Johnson reacts to the fan backlash. He says. It was on Business Insider, but there was another one. There was a full article. Oh wait, is it here? Let me find it. I think it's this one. Basically, he did an interview addressing the fan backlash.
Yeah. He'd say, fuck all the haters.
No, he basically said, what's the quote? He said, having been a Star Wars fan my whole life, having spent most of my life on the other side of the curb, and in that fandom, it softens the blow a little bit, of all the backlash.
Yeah.
He put, I'm aware that through my own experience that, first of all, the fans are so passionate, they care so deeply, sometimes they care violently at me on Twitter. But it's because they care about these things, and it hurts when you're expecting something specific and you don't get it, which I can understand, from something that you love. It always hurts, so I don't take it personally. If a fan reacts negatively
and lashes out at me on Twitter, that's fine. It's my job to be there for that. Like you said, every fan has a list of stuff that they want a Star Wars movie to be, and they don't want Star Wars movie to be, although what they don't want it to be. And you're going to find very few fans out there whose lists line up because it's always specific. And I also know the same way the original movies were personal for Lucas. Lucas never made a Star Wars movie by sitting down and thinking, what do the fans want to see? And I know I knew if I wrote wondering what fans would want, as tempting as that is, it wouldn't work because people would still be shouting, F you ruined Star Wars, and I would make a bad movie. Ultimately, that's the one thing nobody wants. And let me just add that 80-90% of the reaction I've got on Twitter has been really lovely. There's been a lot of joy and love from fans. When I talk about negative stuff, that's not just the full picture of the fans at all. There was the guy asked him another question. He said, even though the movie is the second part of a trilogy, it really feels like a standalone. What is your goal? He said, I want it to be a full meal. I wanted it to be satisfying experience unto itself, because when you go into the theatre, that's what you always want. I did want to pick off where the last one left off. I did want to do the service to these characters in a way that felt consistent, and I wanted to leave it in a place where you felt you were excited for the potential, which I would agree. Would you agree that
I'm very excited
of what would come next, and you're invested maybe a little more deeply in these characters, which I am, and where they would end up, which I am. In that way, the middle chapter, it has to function like that. But it's also a movie, and I wanted people to give the full Star Wars experience. And I also wanted to give them something where they would come out of the theatre feeling totally satisfied. Some people didn't. I did.
Same.
Like, I came out being like, I'm satisfied of what that movie's done.
Yeah. And then Ben was just
Ben kind of went
full
off
of
on
hate.
it, like.
He was full of hate.
But maybe it's probably because I love films. I think for the stuff that I love, I kind of look past the bad and to the good more than anything.
I saw in that film, I saw a lot more good than bad, and I really like the film. Like, for me, no film is flawless. Even films that I love, films like Pulp Fiction, films like The Shawshank Redemption, there are tiny flaws that I can pick apart in those, but that doesn't tarnish my experience, but because I still really like the films.
Like, I watched Doctor Strange the other day.
Yeah.
I watched, because I'm watching him back to kind of gear me up for Infinity War, but also I'm watching him for Meg's sake, because Meg wants to see Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to be like, why don't you take me to the cinema to see them? And I'm like, well...
It's like, because George is my bro.
No, she says, because I haven't seen all the other ones. Well, she has seen a majority. Like, in the past month, we rewatched Age of Ultron, which in the grand scheme of things is super, super perspective looking back at it, compared when you look at it towards Infinity War. Like, some of the stuff that Tony's saying, like...
And stuff he's doing, and like...
It's like it puts it into perspective, some of the lines of dialogue.
Makes sense.
And then we watched Civil War, because she'd already watched Ant-Man. So we watched Civil War, and that was just a great way of like doing that. That was a really fun film. Then there was Doctor Strange, and then all I've got to watch with her is Spider-Man, Thor, and what was it? Black Panther. So, but that's where I look. As I say, looking back at Doctor Strange, I was like, there are some things, and I'm like, the villain's really bad. Apart from Dormammu a little bit at the end, which was kind of clever the way they did it, but the villain didn't really make me go, oh.
Yeah, that's a big thing with all Marvel villains, like in the MCU, with the exception of guys like Loki, Thanos, maybe even Red Skull. I thought
Ultron for me. It goes Loki and Ultron for my two, because I haven't seen Thanos really, apart from just sitting in his chair. That's all it is. He's just menacing.
My legs are asleep.
Like, that's the one thing. I want to know why he's changed colour. Because he's gone from being purple, like deep purple. Maybe that's just space.
Yeah, maybe it's the sun. The sun bleached his skin, like in the 0.00001 seconds that he was on the Earth. He was just like, it's just a pigment change like that, and he's just like, it's like shit. It's like I've completely changed shade.
And then some of the things like that. So you're never always gonna get things right.
Yeah.
Like, here's a good thing. They asked him a question here. Just reading back over this. It says, speaking for myself, the satisfaction is that you move the trilogy someplace beyond the hot takes fans had since Force Awakens, and you did that by making some very shocking choices on who we will be seeing, no longer seeing beyond this movie theoretically. Has it been fun waiting for this movie to come out, knowing that The Last Jedi is a very different movie and what the fans expected? Or was it panic? Maybe you could miss the mark. And he put, laughing. It's been a combination of both these things. When I was writing the movie, I was doing it while they were shooting The Force Awakens. So it wasn't like I was reading all these theories online, being like at my typewriter and going, ha, got you. It was me coming up with a story and was writing purely from personal reaction to the script of The Force Awakens and what they were shooting. Snoke, for example, I probably would have done the same thing regardless. So that's pretty cool. He did that. Snoke's fate came entirely out of Kylo's arc, and realising that in the movie, the most interesting thing for me was for Kylo to be ascendant, to start knocking the shaky foundation out from Kylo's feet, and then building him back up into a complicated but credible villain by the end, which I think they did, because I felt they made him into more of like a pussy character because Snoke was still around in Force Awakens. I felt like he was just like, oh, surprise, I'm going to kill Han, and then there wasn't really like he's killed Han, but he's still conflicted. He can still turn to the good side.
Yeah, well, he didn't pull the trigger to kill Leia, did he? So.
No. And then they did him killing Snoke, which was great because it added for me the rule of two. Yeah. The only way that it continues on is if the apprentice kills the master, and that's what it was. And we didn't really care. I didn't really care enough about Snoke to be like, okay, there we go.
It was like a praying mantis. You know, they mate, and then they eat the other person's head.
Exactly. And there's another thing he put, and one that Rey now has a more complex relationship with than I hate you and I want to kill you. She just wants to see him be jacked all the time. And once I kind of landed on that, it quickly became evident that, okay, what is Snoke's place in this? If I build up Kylo to the point, the most interesting thing to carry into the next movie is Kylo running things, not any echo of the Emperor-pupil relationship. And you realise the dramatic potential of that just makes a lot more sense from a story point of view, which is pretty cool.
I'd agree with that.
Was coming up with how Luke Skywalker would come out of his self-imposed exile, a challenge to write. He put, this is just a really long article. How did you come to the realisation that this would be the end of Skywalker? As I worked out his arc, I was going to be coming to a place where he does this big heroic act, which he kind of did. That he's going to spread through the galaxy, i.e. hope. It would be an act of myth-making, and if there was ever going to be a place in this entire trilogy to give him the emotional moment of goodbye, this was probably going to be the most emotional, potent place to do it. Didn't notice as well, Jeremy Johns pointed it out, there's two suns in the...
I saw that,
when he disappears.
Yeah. I thought that was a really nice send-off.
Is there anything about the next one? How did Mark Hamill react to this? It wasn't the thing that he wanted necessarily to hear. Understandably so. Mark had all these years to think what Luke's triumphant return would be. Luke's the hero coming back to into this story. And the fact that this character and this movie could not be that. This character in this movie was by necessity what he had to do and also be in relation to Rey. Okay. He said, like most movies, this was crafted in post. You guys shot a lot. Obviously, they probably did. Phasma, that's one thing that's really forgettable about the film. She didn't do a lot, except go, traitor! Or whatever it was, as usual. Here's the thing.
She may have survived. I mean, if bullets can bounce off her armour.
That's a good question.
Maybe it's flame resistant. So she's got a jetpack.
So this is a good thing, talking about jetpacks. So what you're saying is you basically helped build the next Boba Fett level fan-obsessed character for the Star Wars saga? Probably. Is there anything to do with the next one? In regards into you taking on the new Star Wars trilogy, do you have a notebook filled with just ideas that would be a cool plug into the universe? Or are you really going to go with a blank page? Said, what's exciting for me right now is the open blue sky of it and the potential of it. I wish I had a file cabinet full of Star Wars ideas just in case,
but also it's great because I can start from the beginning and work forward, as opposed to having stuff I think would be cool. The thing I think that would be cool is to figure out what story will be and what characters we're going to follow and build it from there. It's easy to come up with cool Star Wars stuff. It's just like grabbing your toys and starting to play. The real question is what the story will be. How are we going to create something that's really going to be a new and inspiring Star Wars story? And they put, it sounds like you'll be directing the first movie of this trilogy and then go on and produce the other two. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I'll leave it there. Leave it there. But that is, I think that's very good to see him.
Handling it so well.
Yeah, and
because some of that fan backlash has been a bit crazy.
Come on, man, just enjoy having Star Wars back, man.
Yeah, exactly. We've got fucking Star Wars. You
can be picky, but 6 years ago there was no possibility of this even happening.
Well, the Star Wars brand now is in much better hands than it was
10 years ago.
Yeah,
because 10 years, it's over 10 years since.
Yeah, because Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005.
When did they buy Lucasfilm?
Good question.
Or LucasArts? It's LucasArts, isn't it? No, is it Lucasfilm?
Lucasfilm, LucasArts is the game.
Oh yeah, they crumbled that company.
Which is a shame because they made so many cool adventure games.
Yeah.
But
was it 2012?
I think it may have been 2012 or one of those years. 12
it might have been
or
13 because then it took 2 years to make Force Awakens.
Probably. Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably.
Who knows? We're going to take a quick break and get ourselves a drink, and we'll come back. Boom. And we're back. Yeah. So, for the last little bit of this podcast today, we're going to be talking about the UFC.
UFC 219, right?
Yeah, 219, but also catching up on, since I last spoke to you before Last Jedi, was 217, which was, what headlined that? Was it No, it wasn't Aldo Holloway. That was the week before.
That was 218.
That was 218. It was... it was Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, and there was also...
It was 3 title fights on GSP versus
GSP
Michael Bisping, because GSP's vacated his title now.
Yeah, because he's got ulcer disorder, I think it is.
Something like that. So Robert Whittaker's been promoted to the undisputed champion.
I feel so... Well, I agree with my friend Reese. I feel sorry for Bisping in a way, because he kind of like... He could have fought other people, but Bisping got a title shot, got beat by him, and then now he's
at the bottom of the pile.
He's at the bottom of the pile again.
He got knocked out by Kelvin Gastelum as well.
Yeah, I know. That was a week, 2 weeks later, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
But that was a nuts fight. Like I watched that. I watched all three, because there was that fight. There was TJ Dillashaw
versus Cody Garbrandt.
There was another one.
Fight. Oh, Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
That was nuts! I can't believe she knocked her out.
Fucking Thug Rose. Knocked out Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I was like... I really like Jędrzejczyk. Since when she... before she fought Carla Esparza for the title, which is when she won it, I was like... I saw her in the build-up to that, and she was like... And she just looked really cool in the build-up, where I was like, okay, she's going to beat Esparza. And I wish I would have put a bet on it, because she was a massive underdog.
Was this to Jędrzejczyk or?
This was Jędrzejczyk versus Esparza. So this was...
Right. How many years?
2014.
Okay.
2000.
She was getting close to Rousey's record, wasn't it, for a title?
It was either it was late. It was either 2014 or 2015. But yeah, she what's it called? She won that, and I was like, wow, she's super cool. And like, she's just a badass at fighting, like, and she was undefeated as well. So I was like, damn, this is...
I mean, she's no pushover, like, when it comes to that going into that fight with
she's
Rose.
She beat someone that she beat a British fighter called Rosie Sexton, who's I've got her on Facebook. She's actually a really cool person.
Yeah,
she's been in the UFC as well.
Yeah,
and she fucking destroyed Rosie like really badly. I was like, oh my god. And I really did like her, but in the build-up...
how did JJ get the top? What? She's not in the same division as Ronda, is she?
She's in the strawweight division.
Which is that... Because there's two, isn't there? Or is there three within this division?
There's four now.
Is there four? Isn't there bantam?
There's The heaviest one is featherweight.
Featherweight, which is
Cyborgs,
which was also Holly Holm's division as well.
Holly Holm, yeah, and Jermaine Durandame, but she's a bitch. No one gives a fuck about her.
Wasn't Misha Tate as well in that division?
She's bantamweight.
Oh, she's the one below it.
Yeah. So bantamweight is Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, Misha Tate.
Yeah.
Then you've got strawweight, which is Ioane and Jacek.
And
Rose, yeah, all those guys.
Anyone else that you know about that's coming up at all?
What, in the strawweight?
Yeah.
It's quite a few. I mean,
because you know more about me. Like you and my friend Reese know a lot more about it, because I'm sure you keep up to date with the rankings as well.
Quite a bit. I mean, you've got Jessica Andrade. I don't even know if you say that properly, but she's pretty good. And I think she had a title. She was Young Jacek's last title fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, yeah, I think she was. And then there's Claudia Gadelia.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got what's her name? Paige Van Zandt as well.
Oh yeah, I know.
Felice Herring. You know, you've got some killers in that division. It's becoming a really competitive division now. Which
now
is
that
really
Rose is top of the pot, didn't she stay top of the pot for very long? I think Jacek will want that rematch.
She'll want that rematch. She deserves the rematch.
Because she's the title.
Well, out of the three, out of Garbrandt, Bisping, and Jacek, she warrants another title shot because she was just been dominant for so long. Well, Garbrandt only just won the title and.
I watched that fight because obviously it was a first round knockout, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I watched the Cody Garbrandt TJ Dillashaw fight, and that was a fun fight to watch. I watched the whole of the Bisping fight. I also watched, and I thought Bisping was going to win.
Yeah, I thought he was winning.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And then he got tagged, didn't he, and dropped.
He got dropped and then subbed.
Gave him the back. Like I was like,
it's the first finish that GSP's had since the Avengers lost to Matt Serra.
And how long was that?
2008.
Jesus, that's a long time. That's 10 years.
Well, technically he did beat BJ Penn, but that was by doctor stoppage, so I wouldn't really count it.
Yeah, that fight was like the thing that I didn't like what some people were saying. I'm not the biggest of like guys when it comes to doing fights and stuff, but people are like, oh, he choked Bisping out. It's like, what, he gave him the back? Like, he was on the floor already being dazed from being punched in the face. Like, what are you going to do in that situation when you date? Like, are you going to be like, no, I'm not going to give this world class submissionist?
Your whole thing there, if you get hurt, is to survive, and a lot of the stuff that you wouldn't do normally, like give up your back or the little tiny things you wouldn't normally do, you do them because you're just so focused on surviving.
Yeah, not continually being hit or stuff like that.
So it happens, but
and then we moved to 2 weeks later, which was because they missed a week, didn't they? Was there a fight pass the week after?
It might have been a fight pass.
I think so. Because they did 2 fight passes before 218, didn't they? But they did the fight pass, which was Bisping getting knocked out by Gastelum, which was just dumb. He shouldn't have, but Bisping's a fighter.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been fighting, but
was there any other... did you notice anything out on that card? Was there anything else that you... any fights that you watched?
Not really. I mean, the Bisping Gastelum one was the main one I watched. I can't really remember any of the other ones, but...
Okay. But 218, I watched majority of.
Francis Ngannou is scary. Super scary.
How much would you get? How much should I pay to get in the ring with that guy and take it? Have 30 seconds? No, have a round with him. How much do they have to pay you?
They'd have to pay me a lot, and I would just want to take that guy to the ground because he's got this really kind of like peculiar style where it's wild, but it's still technical. It's really strange because if you look at Overeem, as soon as Overeem came in, closed the distance straight away, got him in the clinch because he didn't want to deal with Ngannou's power.
How long was the round? How long did the round last? It like one?
It got to like 3 or 4 minutes, I think.
Like down to from 5.
Yeah.
Okay. But that left. It's like the Joshua hook.
I clearly felt a snap.
And his head was. It's like that uppercut that Joshua had on Klitschko. Yeah. It's just you can watch it go boom, 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 and it's like when I watch it over.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a big you talk about photos that are taken that are kind of big sporting photos, big sporting moments,
like the Maradona
hand of God, Ali when he knocked out Sonny Liston for the second time and he was like that.
Also, even the Joshua one where he's standing flexing after he's punched down Klitschko. Exactly. That's another iconic one.
But... Yeah, I think this one will be one just where he's like that with his
arm. Yeah, he's just left hook to the
face. Like that. Boom, and his head's only just about staying on his body, and I'm like, dude, just knocked out a K1 world champion.
Yeah. Because he was a kickboxing kickboxing world champion.
Yeah, K1 Grand Prix champion.
He was also Uberim when he was on the Steads. Yeah. I think it was. Wasn't it Alistair Overeem before Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was that. They were both just on Steads,
probably
the whole time.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Isn't Lesnar still banned?
Yeah, he's got another 6 months on his ban, I think.
Do you think he'll come back?
No.
To the UFC? Do you think he's making too much buck in the WWE?
Making too much money. He won't want to come back either.
To prove himself. Suplex City, bitch.
Ngannou said he wanted to fight Brock. I was like, you beat Brock.
Yeah.
You can't take Ngannou.
That's the other question is, do you think he'll beat Stipe Miocic? Because I rewatched the Miocic Fabricio Verdum fight where he won the championship.
Yeah.
And I don't know how because I'm so new to the sport. I am not new in the sense of I know a little bit about it of yourself and from playing the UFC games and stuff. I'm not as into it.
You pick stuff up. Yeah.
I don't understand maybe the whole fighting styles and stuff, but I've got a bit more knowledgeable about it over the past couple of months. But that's going to be a great fight.
I mean, a lot of it's going in Ngannou's favour because one interesting fact,
the odds and stuff.
Yeah, well, an interesting fact is that a heavyweight champion has never defended, a UFC heavyweight champion, never defended it more than twice.
And how long's Miocic defended it there?
Twice.
Really?
Yeah.
How many fights? So when was Verdum's?
Verdum's was because he beat Verdum for the title, then he knocked out Overeem, and then he knocked out Dos Santos. So that's 2 title defences.
Okay.
But if you look at all the
UFC, he knocked out Dos Santos as well.
Yeah. He beat him up pretty bad, but
wasn't that a 5 round? No, that was Mark Hunt. That was when Miocic fought Mark Hunt, wasn't it?
I think so.
They went to the fight because I was watching.
They might have.
So I watched the MMA talk that he had with Joe Rogan last week.
Yeah.
And that was a he's a firefighter, man.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
He is cool, man.
He won the heavyweight championship of the world. 2 days later, he's saving people's lives.
Exactly. He's a cool dude, but
that's nuts.
Ngannou's a tough guy.
What did you make of the Holloway Aldo fight? Did you watch it at all?
I watched it. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was like, it's gonna have the same ending as the first one. Yeah. Holloway's gonna just overwhelm Aldo. Aldo isn't gonna have any way to, and it played out more or less exactly the same. I was like, he's gonna beat him.
Is it the 3rd round it ended?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah.
No, sorry about that. My dad's doing some stuff in the kitchen with plastic bottles. But yeah, what was that? You said overwhelmed him in the 3rd.
Completely.
It's when he got cocky. At the end of the 1st,
yeah,
and it was hit me, going hit, and then he got tagged a little bit by Aldo, but it was fine.
Yeah.
And that was a really good fight. For me, the fight of that night, I didn't watch. There was another fight before Alvarez Gaethje, and I really enjoyed that Alvarez Gaethje fight because
that was a good fight.
They were both battling, and Gaethje wouldn't wouldn't go down.
I wanted Gaethje to win because I'm a big Justin Gaethje fan, but I really enjoyed that fight.
So what's next for
219?
For 219, which is Cyborg
versus Home,
and then Khabib
versus Edson Barboza.
I like Edson Barboza. I just like him on the UFC.
I like him too.
He's a kickboxer, isn't
Yeah, kickboxing, Muay Thai. He's a stand-up fighter. So, but he knocked out Benil Darush with that knee. Yeah. As Darush went in for that takedown. I was like, damn,
Or was that like, the fly? Was that the one where...
There was the flying knee, where he rushed in and he caught him with the knee and he just went straight down.
Was it Edson Barboza, the one where the guy tried to take him down like 3 times?
Yeah.
And like he would jab and then try and take down, and then is that the one?
That was the one, Benil Darush. And then Barboza's also the one that did the spinning wheel kick on Terry Etten.
Oh yeah.
And Etten was like a statue.
Yeah. I've seen that.
But Khabib, man, he's on another level.
Is there any other fights on that card? Any other like?
There are, but I can't remember. Those are the 2 I remember.
And then afterwards, it is
220.
220, which is Daniel Cormier versus I think it's a
Volkan Oezdemir.
Yeah. And isn't the Ngannou fight on that, or is it the next one?
Next one. 221.
And that hasn't been announced yet, though, but it is going to happen.
It's going to be on 221.
Who do you think Conor should fight?
I don't think he's going to come back.
You don't think so?
No.
I think he might.
I don't think he will.
I think he has said his next fight he wants to be an MMA fight, though. So
I don't think he'll come back. If he does come back, he's not going to come back and fight Tony Ferguson.
No, he'll probably fight someone lower down the totem pole.
He'll probably fight Diaz, but there's the thing there. I really like Nate Diaz, but he's fought some tough guys. He even got a title shot, like a lightweight title shot against Benson Henderson, which is good, which is pretty good. But most of the guys in the lightweight division have beaten him.
Yeah, because Max Holloway's the lightweight division.
He's featherweight. Max Holloway.
Because isn't.
But I would have said Diaz for me. Like if he was like in the rankings, I wouldn't even put him top 5.
You wouldn't?
No, and I really like Nate Diaz, but
I think that lightweight division is really good.
It's stacked.
Like, it's McGregor, Ferguson, Diaz is in there, Kevin Lee, Barboza, Khabib, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, you've got some really talented fighters, and it pisses me off that Conor's not fighting in there, because the last time the lightweight title was on the line was 2016.
Alvarez.
Yeah,
it was Alvarez, was it?
November 2016.
Where it was just like left, right.
Yeah, exactly, and you just kind of like, you need to defend your title. You can't just take time off.
You know what I do get pissed off a little bit is interim ones. I hate them because it's like
it confuses everything, and they try and build up people as champions. You just kind of like
you're trying to push someone that's not the actual champion.
And you have too many champions, and you can't gravitate towards someone.
Which is why I think that the heavyweight division, even though like Ngannou Stipe is going to be it's going to build up, but if Ngannou wins, Ngannou's the guy who'll be like, this is the guy in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
And then it goes heavyweight, super. Is it light heavyweight or super heavyweight? No, it's light heavyweight, isn't it?
Heavyweight, light heavyweight.
Which is Cormier, which should be John Jones, but John Jones is another story. Pisses me off. Don't get me started on John Jones. Oh, he's so fucking talented, but then it's middleweight, is it?
The only person who can beat John Jones is John Jones. But
yeah,
middleweight, which is
Robert Whittaker.
Robert Whittaker. Welterweight, Tyron Woodley. Lightweight.
Well, I don't. Who else is in the welterweight division?
Welterweight.
Yeah, Tyron Woodley.
Stephen Wonderboy.
Oh yeah, Wonderboy. Yeah.
He's good. You got. To be honest, the welterweight division, it is. I'm not as interested in it with Tyron Woodley there. It's just he doesn't.
There's supposed to be like a super fight between him and GSP.
Yeah.
And then a super fight between him, GSP, and Conor.
Yeah. I mean, the welterweight division doesn't interest me as much as it used to. Back when GSP was the champion, and just before he left, you had so many guys just coming up, and it was going to be like, wow, who the hell's gonna
take over?
Yeah. You got like people like Johnny Hendricks, Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald,
Rafael Sanyos that fought Robbie Lawler this weekend, just gone, and Dos Anjos won by decision.
Yeah, because he's going to fight Woodley next.
So that was a good fight. I watched that.
Yeah, he's going to fight Tyron Woodley next. Dos Anjos is.
He's 31, isn't he? Or 33?
Yeah, he's had a lot of fights in the UFC as well. He's been fighting since like
early days, or but pre-drug stage.
He's like UFC, like might not have been like UFC 70, UFC 80, something like that. He's been fighting for a while.
Wow.
He's had a lot of fights. He's lost to a lot of people as well, but he's also beaten a lot of people. Like so, he's been along.
Then after welterweight's lightweight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Welterweight's obviously that stacked division. Then it's
Conor McGregor at lightweight. Then Max Holloway at featherweight.
Aldo's really good, but
Holloway's got his number.
Yeah, Holloway's.
Aldo won't get another shot.
Who's behind Aldo?
I think someone would leapfrog Aldo.
Isn't TJ Dillashaw in that division, or is he lower? Because
he's bantamweight.
Is he bantam?
He's the bantamweight champion. He's gonna fight Demetrius Johnson.
Yes, Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse will win that fight so bad. Mighty Mouse is such a good fighter.
Yeah,
I
prefer Mighty Mouse.
He's what's his division?
Flyweight.
Flyweight.
And then that's the lowest for the men's, and then women's, featherweight, bantamweight, strawweight, flyweight.
Oh, okay. So do you think there's going to be a good year for 2018? Do you think there'll be any good fights apart from the ones that are coming up?
Oh yeah, there'll be some really good ones. I'm quite interested as to what happens over the next year, who fights, what title changes hands.
Speaking of fights coming up, who do you think that Fury's going to get back this year? Do you think he'll have a fight this year?
I don't care.
It won't be a big fight.
I don't care.
Do you not like him?
I don't care at all about Tyson Fury.
Okay. Well, what about the whole Joshua Fury fight? Do you think that'll be a thing?
I don't think it will. If it does happen, it won't be this year, I think. Or if it is, it'll be right at the end of the year.
Right. Okay. Do you think?
I don't think Fury wants.
Do you think there's another 2 fights, or like a fight before the Wilder Joshua fight?
I think there will be. At least one.
Joshua's only like 2 people away, I think. From having all the belts.
Yeah.
I think.
There's
so many belts. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Different associations.
It confuses me. You have heavyweight champion of the world. Welterweight champion of the world. That's what you should have. Not, WBA, like
ABA. Isn't it ABA? Or something like that. Athlete boxing association, some bollocks like that.
Nobody knows.
I don't like boxing as much. The only time I really got back into boxing was when Joshua fights and when there was the Mayweather McGregor fight, which is nuts.
Yeah.
That put UFC. I think that put UFC on the map a little bit more.
Well, they're talking. Floyd's in talks apparently with Dana White about coming to the UFC.
Ha! Sorry, no.
That was my reaction exactly.
Put him in the ring with Demetrius Johnson and watch him get subbed in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. If you put him in the ring with Habib. Habib would wreck him.
You'd be like, oh, is that a punch? No. Come here, let me grab you.
He's like, I wrestle bears.
Put him to sleep.
You think I'm scared?
I want to see that picture of just Floyd Mayweather on the floor of the octagon just asleep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to tap.
Yeah. There's the thing, he's got a perfect record in boxing, but, MMA is a completely different game. So, I think it'll be. But I mean,
something to laugh about.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Mayweather and McGregor happened, anything's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, there's talks of like him fighting Pacquiao or Maganelli,
Polly Malignaggi,
the Italian guy.
Malinaggi, whatever the fuck his name is. He needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I know. She technically got knocked to his ass by McGregor. So
yeah,
McGregor wasn't bad in that fight, but
he landed more than Pacquiao did.
Yes, more like it was weird punches though. Maybe it's because he's used to fighting UFC though.
Yeah. Well, if like one of the big things there was what Floyd would do like that, and he'd turn around like that, and McGregor would be like, "If this is MMA, I can slam you to the ground."
Yeah, that's why I was just like, it's boring because it's like I'm just going to go and cover my face. It's like no,
and then clinch and
I would just grab his leg, grab his head, and just knees to the face.
Exactly.
Like,
if you clinch in MMA, you either get an elbow, a knee, or a takedown. You know what I mean? So,
but thank you for coming on today, man.
No worries, man.
Appreciate it.
It's been fun.
This is the first podcast going up on the JT Productions channel. We have, obviously there was my dad walking around for about 10 minutes doing some stuff in the kitchen, so we didn't really want to stop there because we were on a roll with what we were talking about. But I'm going to do another podcast soon. Maybe I'll try to do it once a week. It'd be really good if I could get George on once a week, or even other people on once a week, something like that. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming on, George. You had fun?
Worries. It's been fun. I've enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed ranting as well.
Yeah, and we've had a couple of laughs. Hopefully you've shared some laughs too. And we will see you guys pretty soon.
Peace.
Peace.